It's going to open up South America to the world. It's not just about Rio.
Hello, welcome to the Travel Show, which this week is coming from the huge World Travel Market here in London. Now, each year, representatives from all over the globe come here to try and tempt travellers to their shores. And with many of them hosting major sporting events next year, I've come to see whether you and I can get a piece of the action. That's in a moment, but first of all, here's what else is coming up on today's show. Henry heads to the Philippines to immerse himself in art.
Ready?
Literally.
Good.
If you're an outdoorsy type, the two things you'll want to be is warm and dry.
Tommy's here with his rundown of the latest travel gadgets.
There's no need.
Dennis from Denmark, are you ready? And I invite countries from around the world to take part in a special travel show challenge. Two must-have items when you travel to Brazil.
A small suitcase and your bikinis.
Huge crowds, loud cheers, lively celebrations, and world-class athletes. There's nothing like the atmosphere of a big global sporting event. Every year, countries and cities around the world get ready to welcome hundreds of thousands of people to their shores and become the focus of attention to millions more watching. They take on the enormous task of transforming themselves by building new venues, hotels, transport, and all-round better systems. And the pressure is on to be exciting, vibrant, and capable. For many places, it's probably the biggest opportunity they will ever have to influence perceptions and attract tourists. A city slap bang in the middle of this whirlwind is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. They're putting themselves on the global stage for the second time in 2 years as they gear up to host the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games. It's a very exciting time, but I also reckon probably very nerve-wracking. And seeing as there are representatives from pretty much every country around the world here today, I headed to find someone who could give me an insight into the build-up to the first Olympic and Paralympic Games ever to be held in South America. In 2012, the Olympic and the Paralympic flag was handed from London to Rio. What's happened since then?
The World Cup, for instance, was a big effort on the Brazil side to organize a big event on a sequence of large events, large-scale events, from the Pan American Games in 2007. That brings the possibility of realizing a beautiful, beautiful experience in Rio de Janeiro.
What has been the challenges in putting on such a huge event?
Convincing people that the Games will reinvent the industry of tourism in Brazil, and this is going to be good for the country in general.
One piece of good news is that there are still tickets available for next year's Olympic and Paralympic Games in Rio. Events will be held in 4 main areas of the city, but most of the action will take place in a district called Barra, which will be home to the Olympic Park. Accommodation is getting booked up fast, so if you're intent on going, the advice is to get this sorted soon. Remember, if you find hotel rates are too high, it could pay to investigate smaller guest houses or private homestays. And if you're in Rio during the Games and don't have a ticket to any events, there are still ways to get involved. The city will be lively with celebrations, and it's worth heading to Madureira Park and the seafront at the port, 2 places where you'll be able to watch the Games for free on a big screen. The buzz created during sport is electrifying, and it's no secret that I'm a big sports fan, and I've been fortunate enough to commentate and be a spectator at the Paralympics and Olympic Games, and sport on such a huge scale has the power to bring people together in celebration and commiseration when their team loses. But once all the hype calms down and the crowds go home, what happens then? For all modern Olympic host cities, the hope is to create something more lasting than an extraordinary month-long event. The facilities built in Athens have largely been left unused since the Games ended there in 2004. Although in London, 3 years on from Olympic and Paralympic mania, most of those specially built and expensive sporting venues are still being used. But change goes way beyond the bricks and mortar of these impressive venues, and the perception of some Olympic cities have transformed immeasurably, and as a result, more tourists now want to go there.
The legacy for Barcelona was enormous. Pre the Olympics, industrial port, post-Olympics, amazing tourist destination. It's transformed the city, and it's probably become one of the leading destinations in Europe now.
Do you think that same effect can be replicated in Rio? Because, you know, my impression of Rio is it's a beautiful city, amazing carnival, but it's quite dangerous.
Rio is about carnival. It's about party. Yes, it's got problems with sewage. Yes, it's got problems with security. They're working on cleaning that up. They're trying to make the country cleaner, safer, because they want you and me to go there for holidays. It's going to open up South America to the world. And I think that's what it should be about. It's not just about Rio.
Come on! Come on! But hosting events like the Olympics is an expensive business, and Brazil is likely to spend over $3 billion on the Games, and that's a massive investment for any country. So aside from world-class sport and one heck of a party, what longer-term changes can Rio 2016 bring for Brazil? Crime has been a long-standing issue in many Brazilian cities, much of it centered in the densely packed and deprived districts known as favelas. In the run-up to next year, there's been a concerted effort to clean up many of these areas, to drive out crime and improve living conditions. And tourists are now being encouraged to stay in some of the many guest houses that have opened up in these previous no-go zones. Rio is also taking steps to resolve another historic problem: the sewage that pollutes its world-famous beaches and coastline. If the cleanup is successful, it will be a major improvement to Rio's infrastructure and image, providing cleaner and safer water for both locals and tourists and boosting wildlife. Feels like a proper party atmosphere here. Now, you know what? There are so many inspiring things that can come from sport. I remember when my basketball team won that bronze medal back in Athens 2004. It was amazing, and the sense of pride and achievement was out of this world. Now, if you're lucky enough to get a ticket, you're in for a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and maybe you'll even witness a city embarking on a new legacy, beginning in awesome style. I'm trying to get as many countries as possible to take the travel show 20-second challenge. Is your nation up for it? Come on! You ready?
I am ready.
Ready?
Yes, of course.
You ready?
Ready.
Go! Number of visitors to Croatia.
13 million.
2 must-have items when you travel to Costa Rica.
Sunscreen lotion and hiking boots.
Dennis from Denmark, are you ready? Number of visitors to Denmark.
20 million.
2 must-have things or items when you travel to Kenya.
An open art and a big suitcase.
2 must-have items when you travel to Brazil.
A small suitcase, your bikinis.
Nicole from Panama, ready?
Ready.
Go! Number of visitors to Panama.
2.5 million.
2 useful phrases. 2 useful phrases in Kerala.
Sorry.
2 must-have items when you travel to Indonesia. The clock is ticking. Number of visitors.
37 million around.
2 useful phrases for New York City.
The Big Apple and forget about it.
2 must-have items when you travel to the Falklands.
Coat and boots.
Best kept secret in Sri Lanka. Best kept secret of Belgium.
Beer.
Best kept secret.
Oman.
Muy bien! Smashed it. Boom! You got it. 5 and 5. Yes. Okay, it's time now to find out what else is making news in the world of travel this week. Here's your update. In Egypt, the pyramids at Giza have revealed mysterious heat spots, which scientists described as thermal anomalies. This discovery comes as experts search for suspected hidden chambers. From one pyramid to another. In Shanghai, China, a team of 200 people from Barcelona came to form a traditional Catalan human pyramid, the height of a 2-story building. The event was part of the first Barcelona Catalunya Cultural Week in Shanghai and marks the 15th anniversary of ties between the two cities. And finally, it was with great sadness that people around the globe followed the attacks that unfolded in Paris. Many of the world's major landmarks were lit up in the colours of the French tricolour flag as a gesture of solidarity and mourning for those that were killed. We finished this week's travel update with just some of these striking images. Stay with us because still to come on the travel show, we head to the Philippines to see art recreating life at a special 3D gallery in Manila.
Let me save you, let me save you.
The Travel Show, your essential guide wherever you're heading.
We're kicking things off this week with this. It's a compact electronic microscooter, which the makers claim is a world first because it uses sensors to detect my motion, which then controls its speed. The E-Micro 1 weighs in at 7.5 kilograms. It takes about an hour to fully charge this bad boy, and then you're good to go. There are 3 different ride settings: Eco, Standard, and Sport mode. On smooth ground, this is lovely, but as soon as you hit an uneven surface, it can be a little bit jarring. You'd think for this kind of money, there'd be some kind of suspension that was built into the wheels. It is quite lightweight, but not enough to be travel friendly, but really easy to master. And once you get going, it's a whole lot of fun. If you're an outdoorsy type, the 2 things you'll want to be is warm and dry. And the makers of this sleeping bag claim that it is the absolute daddy. Why? Because it's filled with a special treated down. The Rab Neutrino Endurance 600. It's quite an unusual sleeping bag because it's supposed to be waterproof. The inside has a special hydrophobic down, which its makers claim keeps it resistant to damp and wet conditions. But it's not cheap. Well, it's definitely very snug in here, but it's not raining, so there's no real way of testing whether it's waterproof or not. No, come on, there's no need. There's no need. Well, that works. A cold, wintry evening shouldn't stop you from enjoying a nice chilled drink, but if you want to protect your fingers from the elements, then maybe this is the answer. The Hanski is the original drinking mitten. Its makers claim it allows you to enjoy your favorite can or bottle in cold weather without sacrificing warmth or grip ability. Okay, so there's no real technological element to this. I mean, there's not even any kind of lining on the inside that can keep the drink cold whilst keeping your hand warm. But it would make for a nice novelty gift for that person that's always moaning that they're too cold to drink. Cheers. Okay, come on, admit it. Hands up if you're a little bit lazy. Yep, you and me both. If you're the kind of person that can't be bothered to take all your stuff out of the suitcase and hang it nicely on the shelves or in the cupboard, then this is for you. This is the ultimate lazy person suitcase because it's got shelves built in. The shelf pack has 4 shelves, which allows you to pack your clothes and then stack them for when you arrive at your destination. It's got a number of front pockets where you can keep other belongings, and it seems like a really good idea, but it is quite pricey and it's not the most stylish of suitcases. Yes, I know, it's a little bit geeky, but I'm a gadget guy and I like these kind of things. Having the shelves inside does limit the space that would normally be available in a case of this size, and it does make it a little bit heavier, but think of the time you'll save. It allows you just to put your case down and get on with your business meetings or enjoy your holiday, which is exactly what I'm going to do.
Finally, this week we head to Manila in the Philippines. The city is probably more associated with traffic jams and crowded streets than galleries and museums. But a new attraction is setting out to try and change that and get tourists more involved in works of art. Literally. We sent Henry to take a look.
London's National Gallery, the Louvre in Paris, and New York's Museum of Modern Art. These galleries house some of the most famous and valuable paintings in the world, attracting millions of people who come to contemplate and admire the works on display there. But what if you want to go home with some photos of your visit? Well, with these and other galleries either banning or reviewing their policy on selfie sticks and other forms of photography, you could increasingly face a problem. But here in Manila, there's one gallery that takes a very different approach. They want you to interact with the art.
If this was a real Van Gogh painting, you wouldn't be allowed anywhere near it. And in this case, it actually would be a part of the painting.
The Art in Ireland Museum is Asia's largest gallery dedicated to 3D art. The 2-story building houses some 200 paintings, from man-eating animals to masterpieces with a twist.
This was your piece of work here. How long did it take you to paint this one?
Maybe 7 days.
7 days?
Yeah.
Only 7 days?
Mm-hmm.
Margaret Mamorg is one of the gallery's resident painters.
Okay.
The pictures are all carefully designed with cameras in mind.
And there's a perspective point, isn't there? So there's a spot that we need to look for. I think it's just here.
Photo point.
This is the photo point. So these are quite critical for getting the right angle. Okay. Okay, you take a photo of me here then. Let me try this out. Okay. Here we go. So you're kind of forced to do something silly. That's what it brings out of you. You kind of want to be a part of the picture. So here goes nothing. Ready?
Nice.
Good?
Good.
And the approach is paying off, attracting thousands of people daily.
It's like everything comes to life, like not like the regular museum.
To be honest, I hate going to museum because it's boring, but this is a different kind of museum because I can take pictures.
Okay. Sorry. No, These types of museums aren't for everybody. It is very loud and you're constantly having to dodge people's cameras. But actually, I quite like it. You use your imagination whilst walking around and you can't help but smile. You must be like the selfie queen. You must know exactly all the best points to do the selfies.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly.
The people behind the gallery say the exhibition is a direct response to the selfie obsession. But the real success is what people are doing with the photos.
Our marketing is more on social media side and a word of mouth, because the audience get excited when they see the pictures of other people who came here already. So mostly in social media.
The exhibition is constantly being refreshed, with new designs put up every 6 months.
Do you need some help? Do you need some help? Do you think?
So I got a chance to see how it's done.
It's one of these. So if I've got this sort of red here, where should I be going?
You can paint it in the middle.
In the middle?
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm totally going to ruin your masterpiece here, by the way. I hope you know that. Not too bad, but it's coming together. It's getting there. Maybe a few thousand more hours of practice.
It's fair to say that this gallery wouldn't be the choice of serious art lovers, but what you do get here is a lot of fun. And where else would you get the chance to get up close and personal with world-famous works of art?
Smile.
Henry getting his head around 3D art in the Philippines. Well, I'm afraid that's it from us this week. Join us next week if you can, when Rajan sets off to travel through a country with a fearsome and legendary reputation. From the Siberian border to the Gobi Desert. He finds out why Mongolia is known for being home to some of the toughest people in the world.
I'm just about to go on, but the guy before with Idris dislocated his arm, which is a bit freaky. It was freaking me out a little bit.
Look out for that if you can, but in the meantime, don't forget you can follow us on social media. You know what to do by now, and if you don't, check out the details going across the screens right now. You can follow us in real time on our travels. Till the next time though, from me, Adir Depitan, and everyone else here on the Travel Show team, it's goodbye.